Everything Everywhere All at Once is a movie that is completely bonkers, and I'm very excited to give you guys my review for this movie. If you've seen it, be sure to leave a comment of what you thought about it. As well, be sure to like this video and subscribe to my channel. Now let's get into this review. In this movie, Michelle Yeoh plays a Chinese immigrant that is swept up in an insane adventure in which she alone can save the world by exploring other universes and connecting with the lives that she could have led. Now, this is a movie that I've been wanting to check out for a while, and I finally got a chance to see it. And this is what I sort of expected and hoped for from Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Because in that movie, I thought it was lacking on the madness. This movie, there's tons of madness. I thought this movie was completely bonkers at times, and for the most part, I loved it because of that. It's definitely more complex within the way they use the multiverse in this movie, where it's like your mind's more traveling the multiverse sort of thing, which was really cool. I thought it was a very unique way to use the multiverse concept, and yeah, it was bonkers. I'll probably be using that word a lot in this because that's a good way, I think, to describe this movie. Michelle Yeoh is great in this. She gives a great performance, and she's really great in the action fight scenes in this, and those scenes were filmed very well and choreographed very well. I thought they were quite exciting, and the performances across the board I thought were all really good in this. I enjoyed the characters. You got a feeling of what they're like. You could feel for them, understand sort of why they're the way they are. Like her husband, who's very positive, you understand why he's that way, and I always enjoy it when movies do a really good job of making the audience understand why the characters are the way they are. That was really well done. And just all the scenes, like there's some really cool and interesting things going on visually, and it looked like a lot of the time there was stuff done practically. Like, I'm sure there was CGI in this, but it was used in a way that it wasn't distracting or always particularly noticeable, which I thought was really good. One thing that I really appreciate about this movie is how unique it feels when we have so many movies that are reboots, remakes, sequels, which sometimes can be really good. This one felt very fresh, and like there's other movies dealing with the multiverse, like we had Multiverse of Madness this year as well, but it feels completely different. This feels very unique. Like I said, the way they use the multiverse I thought was very clever. Like, it's not done where your physical bodies going to different universes. It's more your mind's connecting to other yous in other universes. I just thought that was really interesting, and they go really bonkers with different universes. Like in one, people have like sausage fingers. It was very weird, and sometimes it could be maybe a bit too bonkers, too wacky with some of the stuff they were doing, but overall I thought it was great. And the villain, at first I was worried about the villain, because as the movie was progressing I could see where they were going to go with the villain, and that's where they went, and I got nervous about it when they did go that way. But in the end, I thought it worked well. I thought it had more heart than I was expecting, and it didn't come off as cheesy, which is one of the things I was worried about, and maybe for other people it did, but for me it didn't, and it worked quite well, which was good. I think for me, my biggest issue with this movie, and it's not a huge issue, is that at times it can be a bit repetitive. Like, there's a section of this movie, for the middle part, that had a lot of focus on the fighting and action, which was done very well, and it was all really entertaining and sometimes funny. My problem is you'd have a big fight scene that would lead into just another big fight scene, which led into another big fight scene. So it just started to feel a bit more of the same at times, but they still managed to make it entertaining. They changed the fights up a little bit with like what people were using. And so yeah, there were times when I was noticing like, okay, it kind of felt like a fight scene just stretched out for a long period of time, but it was sort of like multiple fight scenes over a long period of time. So that's like a minor issue that I have, because I was still entertained even though it felt like they were just doing fight scene, fight scene, fight scene. So yeah, that's probably my biggest issue, and it's not even a huge issue. It's more just a nitpick, and I could see it bothering other people more if they felt like the movie was just being more repetitive. And even in the final act, they sort of go back to things that the characters were dealing with at the start of the movie, which I know I've heard some people say that they found that part maybe too repetitive. For me, it worked though, because yes, they're going back, but it's because, you know, they're going back to something that Michelle Yeoh's character is dealing with, but they've also been with Michelle Yeoh's character who's going through the multiverse, at least with their mind. So it worked for me. I thought it worked well with sort of the drama and the emotion that they were able to capture with it. That personally, that part didn't bother me. So yeah, for me, I really enjoyed this movie, and I was hoping to like it, and I loved it. Like I said, one issue for me was just that, yeah, it could be a bit repetitive at times, but it wasn't enough to really detract from my enjoyment. And at times maybe I enjoyed how wacky and bonkers this movie could be, but maybe at times it just went a little bit too much just for me personally. But yeah, performances were great. I thought it was a very clever way of using the multiverse. The action scenes were all fantastic. I think this is right now one of my favorite movies to come out this year. I'm going to give Everything Everywhere All at Once a 90%. Yeah, I definitely love this movie. Be sure to leave a comment what you guys thought if you've seen this movie. And be sure to like this video and subscribe to my channel. And be sure to stay tuned for some more reviews coming soon. My next review should be of GoldenEye, the next movie, my James Bond movie review. So stay tuned for that. And until my next review, take care, everybody.